Can I be honest with you for a second? Some of the most damaging people don't look toxic at all. They don't yell. They don't explode. They don't act like the villain you expect. In fact, they might seem calm, kind, even a little misunderstood. That's what makes it so hard to see. Because when you're dealing with a covert narcissist, the problem isn't obvious. It's subtle. It's the way you start feeling over time. At first, everything feels normal. They listen. They seem thoughtful, maybe even a little reserved. You feel like you found someone different. But slowly, something shifts, and you can't quite explain it. You start second-guessing yourself. Not in a big, dramatic way, but in small moments. Like after a conversation, you walk away thinking, wait, was that my fault? That's one of the first signs. They don't attack you directly. They make you question your own reality. They might say things like, I never said that, or you're overthinking it, or you're too sensitive. And it sounds harmless until it starts happening all the time. Now you're not just reacting, you're doubting yourself. Another thing you might notice, everything somehow circles back to them. You could be talking about your day, your stress, something that matters to you, and suddenly you're comforting them. They become the victim in situations that had nothing to do with them, and you end up feeling guilty for even bringing your feelings up. It's subtle, but it trains you. It teaches you that your emotions are less important than theirs, and over time, you stop sharing as much. You start shrinking. Another sign people miss, the passive comments. Not direct insults, but little things that stay in your head, like a joke that doesn't feel like a joke, or a compliment that somehow makes you feel smaller. Something like, I mean, you did your best, I guess. And you're left sitting there, wondering why it didn't feel good. That's the thing. Nothing they do is obvious enough to clearly call out, but it adds up. And here's where it really starts to affect you. You begin to feel emotionally drained, not from arguments, but from the constant tension, from trying to read between the lines, from trying to stay on the right side of their mood. You become hyper-aware, careful with your words, careful with your reactions, and you don't even realize how much energy that's taking from you, because on the surface, everything still looks fine. That's what makes it confusing. You're not dealing with chaos, you're dealing with quiet control. And maybe the hardest part, they rarely take accountability. If something goes wrong, there's always a reason, always an explanation, always a way for it to not fully be on them. And somehow you end up being the one apologizing, even when you're hurt, even when you didn't do anything wrong. So you start asking yourself, am I the problem here? And that question alone is a sign, because in a healthy connection, you don't constantly feel like you're the one to blame. You don't feel like you have to analyze every little thing you say or feel. You don't feel smaller over time. You feel safe. You feel heard. You feel like you can be yourself without walking on eggshells. And if you're listening to this and something feels familiar, don't ignore that. You don't need everything to be extreme for it to be unhealthy. Sometimes the quietest patterns do the most damage. And recognizing it doesn't make you dramatic. It makes you aware. And that awareness, that's the first step to getting your sense of self back.